So I was looking through one of my Facebook groups and a gal named Rosie had a question about how to make something like this. So my wheels got turning, and if you want to see what I came up with to do it, well then follow me. What's up, Glue Dots? I'm Elaine, the Midnight Crafter. Well, I took up this challenge that Rosie put out there because she wanted to see ideas for how maybe to be able to come up with this chandelier. So my wheels got turning and the challenge was accepted. And not only did I make it using some of Dollar Tree items, but the rest all for free. They're all recyclables and stuff that you probably have in your trash right now. I cannot wait to show you this. It was so much fun to do, and I'll show you a couple different techniques in this video as well. So if you are ready to hit that like button down there, we will get this party started. Don't forget to check the description box down below for lots of great information. I'm not going to bore you with the details of what's down there. Just go check it out. All right, let's do it. We're going to be starting off with this container. This was one of those giant containers from spinach or mixed greens that I had, but any and as many containers like this that you can save up. Maybe they're from salads. The main thing we're looking for is that we have some good flat surfaces to work with to create our pieces. So take all the labels off, and then we're going to just cut this so that we have our flat pieces to work with. I'm going to give you two different options for how to add color to these. One option would be that we're going to cut out our circles ahead of time. And what I used for a template to cut out my circles was this votive candle. It has about a 1 3/4 inch base to it. Then I'm just taking a Sharpie that matches the color of whatever colors I'm using in my design because I want it to somewhat match. It may show a little bit. Go ahead around and trace your votive out. So we will be cutting out about close to 100 pieces for this project. So it's a great thing to do while you're sitting in front of the TV, but either you're going to be doing this method where we're going to be nail polish dipping them later to give them some color, or we're going to be doing another method using the scarves from Dollar Tree and Mod Podge to cover them. There's so many different styles of scarves at Dollar Tree right now, and here are a few of them. I found this one with butterflies and I thought it would be really nice, but whatever you decide, whatever style and color you like will work just as well. For my project, I'm going to be doing half and half. I'm going to be doing half of just the clear circles that we're going to be coloring with nail polish and half of them with this Mod Podge scarf. So what I'll be doing first is taking my piece, and that you don't want the curved edges, you just want the flat edges. So I'm going to measure out approximately what it's going to be to cover just that flat part and cut that out. And then I'm going to be using the glossy Mod Podge from Dollar Tree. So you want to go ahead and put your Mod Podge on, and you want to have a moderate amount, not too terribly thin, but you also don't want it really thick and goopy either. Then you're going to take your piece of fabric and just lay it right on top of that and spread it out. Once you've got it smoothed out on there, you're going to add a little more Mod Podge on the top, and this soaks in pretty fast on the top. And the fabric will move a little bit on your plastic, so sort of be aware of that you're not just brushing it all down and having your fabric slide. So just be aware of where your fabric placement is when you're doing that. Once you've got that all done, you may see some areas that have little bubbles and stuff, but don't worry about that. Those will work themselves out. And we're just going to let this sit aside probably for a good few hours until it dries really well, at least a couple hours. For this next part, I'm going to show you the other way that we're going to color these pieces if you don't want to do the Mod Podge of the scarf, or maybe you want to combine both, or maybe you just want to do this method. So I have done this method before using nail polish, and I'll leave an iCard up there so you can click and see the other project I did that on in case you want to watch. It's actually one of my most popular videos, so you may want to watch it anyway. So what I've done here is take just an old Tupperware and poured some water in it, Nothing special. And I have my coordinating colors to match my scarf because these are going to be the pieces that will be in between. We're going to be dipping these pieces into the water with the nail polish. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. But in the meantime, shake up your polishes and have all of the lids open and ready to go. You don't want to have to be unscrewing them every time you want to pour some in. And do also have either a paper towel or a piece of paper or something to set your pieces on when you pull them out of the water. I like to have something to grab these with so that I'm not getting my fingers all in the polish. So I have an old pair of tweezers that I'm using. We're just going to start by pouring in a few drops of the various colors and kind of spread it around like you're sort of pouring syrup on pancakes. And you want to work a little bit quickly. You don't have to do so many colors. I don't know why I'm doing so many at one time. You can vary them each time a little bit different. So you see I have all my polish in there, and I'm just going to take from the very edge of my piece and I'm going to dip it right into that polish, and it gives me this design. Every piece is going to be different, and if you move quickly you can use this polish here multiple times, and each time will end up a little different, as you can see. At one point this is going to start getting kind of gummy and start to leave bubbles and things like that. At that point you're going to want to clean out all that leftover polish that's floating around and add some new polish. So you can see now as I'm doing it, my polish is starting to sort of bunch up and get a little gummy. It's okay if it doesn't bother you that it's a little bit kind of clumpy, not as smooth. It's not a problem. Honestly, in the big picture with all of these hanging, you really won't notice. So I would go as much as you can, get as many of them. I was able to get 6 with that one batch. I do like to keep a little scrap piece of plastic, and I use that to just clear off any of that top film that dries up so that we can start our next layer of polish. This was all left on the surface. Now that all the pieces are nice and dry, it's the next day, we are going to need to poke some holes in these so that we'll be able to attach them to each other. And for that, what I'm going to be using is, this is called a crocodile. And I actually learned about this from another YouTube crafter, Heidi Sonbul. So, and I really like it for things like this, and it also pokes through tin cans or other metal projects and things that we might have. I'll leave a link for it below if you're interested, and it took me a little while to figure out how to use this. You actually use this part up here for cutting. This part down here is for doing eyelets and stuff like that. So you have 2 different options for the size of hole. This one has a bigger hole, this one a smaller hole. So I'm going to be using the smaller hole size and going in just to the edge. Now, 17 of our rounds are only going to have the hole on the one side. The rest of them are going to have the holes on both sides. So I'm going to go ahead in there, not too far in, but far enough that it won't tear through there. So that's where I put the hole. I'm going to do that on, as I said, 17 of them will be just with the hole on the one side. The rest will have the hole on both sides. So I'm going to go directly across from that now and make my other hole. And we're doing this because we're going to be sort of attaching them as a chain to each other. So here you can see that I have the holes on both sides. Next, what we're going to be doing is making the little jump rings, which are the rings that are going to be holding the pieces together. And for this, I'm using this thick wire that I got from Dollar Tree. It comes in several different colors, and this is just the one that I happen to have on hand. It's a great one because it's nice and bendable, and it won't really require too much effort on your part. So you're going to take and cut a good long piece. You're going to do this several times, so don't worry about actually what the length of your piece is. And then I found a good size is to use the round part of one of these kind of, I guess it's about a 1-inch foam brush. What I'm doing here is wrapping the wire around several times until it's all used up around my foam brush handle. Then you can see that the ends stick out a little bit there, and I'm just going to use my wire cutter to sort of push those down so those are kind of flush with the handle as well. So we're almost making like a little coil or a little spring, just like that. Once you do that, you're going to slide this coil right off, and then we're going to be cutting directly across using our wire cutters from where the end starts. So you can see where this end is. I'm going to go right next to that, and I'm going to just start cutting directly. This will create our jump rings. So you're going to continue in a straight line down in line with where this piece ends, all the way across, and have multiple jump rings. We're going to need about 100 jump rings, so this is a pretty easy process to do and doesn't take very long. Just for a quick reference, that one that I showed you just now made 13 jump rings. You can, go ahead and do it as many times around as you want with as long wire as you want and have to do it less times. Now we're going to start assembling this. What I have here is 58 fabric circles, and 17 of those 58 have only a single hole. The other ones have 2 holes, one on the top and one on the bottom. And then the nail polish circles, we need 41 of those, and those have the hole poked out top and bottom as well. And then we have our 99 jump rings. Now we're going to just start assembling it. So you're going to take your pieces that have the 2 holes. For me, since I'm doing alternating, I'm going to start with the fabric and then nail polish and then change up and ending with a fabric one. So we're going to need to make 10 of these that have 5 pieces hanging. How are you going to do that now? You're going to open your jump ring, and the way you open a jump ring, this is something important to know. Some of you probably know this from making jewelry, but others of you may not know, and it's really, really important when you're working, whether you're working with jewelry or you're working with these jump rings here. Now, a lot of people commonly will try and open a jump ring this way. That's not the way you want to do it, because it puts a lot of strain down here, and eventually from opening and closing your jump ring will break in half. The proper way to do it is to take your jump ring and push one side forward and one side back. So your ring will open up like this. This way you can open and close this multiple times without it weakening the bottom of your piece here. Open the jump ring and pass your piece through there. And then again, the same way you opened it, you're just going to push those pieces back together. You can always adjust accordingly just by going back and forth in this direction until you get those to close up. But before we do close it up, for me, I'll be adding one of my nail polish circles, and then I'll be closing that up. So I have it basically like this, and we're going to be continuing on making our string of circles. The nice thing about this particular wire is it does bend quite easily. Some of you, though, your hands may get tired, in which case you can just grab a little needle nose plier and use that to sort of help you out, because we are going to be doing a lot of them. Okay, so here I have 4. My last one, because I'm doing 5, will be one of the ones that doesn't have the hole at the bottom. And this is going to be the end piece, so it doesn't really need a hole. So here you can see I've made my first string that's going to be hanging down. We will need a jump ring at the top as well, because that's where we're going to be attaching it to the round circle part. So you can have that on there ready to go. I'm going to be making 10 of these with 5 pieces hanging and 7 of them with 7 pieces hanging. These are 3 different examples I just wanted to show you. This one is if we did only the fabric pieces, and this one, you can see I have the alternating, the 2 pieces that I did the nail polish on. And this one, though it's in different colors and smaller sizes, gives you an idea of what it's like if you only do the nail polish. The nail polish alone is much closer to the picture that we were trying to recreate. However, I don't know, thought I'd change it up a bit and try something a little different. Now we're going to start putting this all together. This is the small wreath form from Dollar Tree. Now, I had this from a previous project, so I've already cut it apart, but you don't want to do what I did. What you would want to do for this project is remove the center ring only. You would have something like this, but with the connector piece also from the big ring going to attach them all. So again, don't go by my example. I'm using kind of what I have in my stash already so I don't waste it, but you're just going to want to cut that center ring part out of there. Just remove that and leave the largest and the smallest rings attached. So we're going to pretend like these two are linked together. What we're going to be doing in the smaller inner ring, you're going to be attaching each of your longer, your 7-piece strands. Are you guys getting value out of this project, out of my channel? If so, please give me a thumbs up and share this video. That's what helps me the most to help grow my channel. So go ahead and attach each of your pieces here around. So for right now, we have this. They're all just sort of hanging in the same spot. We'll go ahead also, because remember, these are attached together. Not really, not mine, but yours will be. And we're gonna attach our shorter pieces onto the bigger part, the bigger ring. Which one of the versions do you like the best? Do you like the one with only nail polish, only fabric, or all of them combined? So for the sake of making this a little less confusing, I unattached my extra pieces and just left my center ones. There was too much going on here for me to be able to show you guys. What we're going to be using is that you can get this at Dollar Tree. It is plant hanger, and it has the 3 chain pieces and the hook at the top, and we're going to use that to hang this up. Before we glue our hanging pieces in place, I want to hang this up because it will be much easier to do it hanging than it will be to try and do them laying down like this. You guys can see I had to rig my my rings together with paper clips, but that's all I could come up with, so it works, whatever. Now, another thing is our jump rings are gold. For me, my ring is black and my chain is black. If you want to, you can spray yours gold or to match the rest of your project. It's entirely up to you. I'm okay with it being black. There's black running throughout my design, so that works out well for me. Because we have 3 chains, we have to space them out equally. You guys have the divider section, so next to the divider sections would be perfect. And then we're gonna hang this up. This is gonna be a little tricky for me to show you with the camera the way it is, but space out your little pieces here. And if you wanna measure out diameter and divide it and all that good stuff, go for it. I found it kind of nice to put the little split part of the jump ring on the top, kind of resting where this is. Once you get your jump ring in place and have these all spaced out where you want them, you're just going to add a little bit of E6000 right under the jump ring, just one little dot of it, and place your jump ring on top. So you're going to go through and do that for each one of these once you get them spaced. And we're going to let that dry overnight, and then your project is done. How exciting. Yay. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this project. A shout out to Rosie Smith, who asked for ideas on how to make this project. I love when you guys give me ideas very specific for something that you want me to try and recreate. I don't have to work as hard to think. All right. Let's check this out. Hey, by the way, if you want to throw a light in here somehow, you can maybe attach something here in the center and put a push light. But I think for me, I'm just going to use this as a decorative piece.